Coming up on Cronkite News, Arizona's wildfires closed parks and caused evacuation orders. We'll see how the interstates are handling it.
And later, as the audit nears an end, those who provided the county ballots speak up. We'll have the details.
And later on Break It Down, how Hollywood is working to be more inclusive in casting practices.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Erin Slindy.
And I'm Tina Giuliano. Thank you for joining us.
While forests and parks closed today due to fires burning around the state, fire teams' resources are being spread thin. Evacuation orders issued near Benson, Arizona is causing bumper-to-bumper traffic on the interstate. Go orders were given to residents living in the area after the Walnut Fire grew significantly. Nearly 7,000 acres have been burned with no containment. The American Red Cross has set up evacuation and cooling centers in the area. No word yet on the cause of the fire. Senators Mark Kelly and Mitt Romney introduced legislation that would make a wildfires commission to provide information and make recommendations to Congress.
The Arizona Senate passed the budget proposal after working until 2:30 last night. The Senate passed 11 bills, including the tax cut they had been debating. The House adjourned yesterday afternoon after Democrats refused to show up to the Capitol. This blocked debate on the budget and major tax cuts they say mostly benefits the wealthy. In the Senate, most of the bills passed along party line votes, and most of them Republicans supported where Democrats opposed. Republicans passed a new policy that included expansions to the state's private school voucher program.
After Tuesday night's unified and successful Republican effort to block debate on voting rights legislation, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell proclaimed America's election system is not broken. But as CNN's Key Lung Law reports, ballots here in Maricopa County are currently being scrutinized, and the man who provided the ballots to the county is speaking up.
In these final days of the so-called Arizona audit, the focus is on the ballot paper itself. As we peek in from our perch in the nosebleed press box, we see workers photographing the nearly 2.1 million 2020 ballots cast in Maricopa County, using multiple microscopic cameras to zoom in on the paper. It's a mystery what this is all about to us and to Jeff Ellington.
What are they looking for?
Don't know. Wish we knew.
Ellington would know if something was wrong with the ballot paper. He's the president and CEO of Runbeck Election Services. Nearly every single 2020 printed ballot from Maricopa County, Arizona was produced here at Runbeck, an airtight, secured 90,000 square foot facility where every ballot is barcoded, sorted, and assembled, and the specialty paper itself cut and measured to the nanometer.
This is ballot paper.
So this has to be specially made.
It's heavy, it's hard to ship. The stuff, 1,000 pounds for each one of these rolls, but we don't have paper made out of bamboo.
Bamboo in ballot paper has been a wild conspiracy the controversial audit has chased.
There's a lot of accusations that were said about the ballots coming from China, bamboo in the paper, that 40,000 ballots came in that were forged or whatever.
My first response was, there's no way.
But as this unorthodox audit continued and Ellington watched workers use UV lights on the ballots Runbeck printed, it started getting to him.
So we're like, well, maybe there is something. So we went in a room like this and we got our flashlight and we were shining it on the paper, trying to figure out what they could possibly be looking for. We couldn't find anything on the ballot that reflected or was a watermark or anything.
This is what it's come to.
Yeah, this is what it has come to.
I think that this is an exercise in just nonsense.
Stephen Richer is a Republican Maricopa County recorder, loudly denouncing this partisan exercise by the Republican-controlled Arizona Senate and what this will mean for American democracy.
You're going to have division, and we're not going to have moved the needle at all, and we're going to give in further oxygen to some of these absurd conspiracy theories. And so, I don't see what the end game is here, and I don't see how this really helps.
Or makes any sense at all, says Ellington.
In 2016, you did the ballots.
Correct.
In 2020, you did the ballots.
Yes, for Maricopa County, we did the ballots in both elections.
So what changed between 2016 and 2020 that there's now this outrage in 2020?
The outcome?
There is still no word on when the results of the audit will be released.
A new federal investigation will focus on Native American boarding schools that forced the assimilation of its students in the 19th and 20th centuries. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland made the announcement Tuesday at the National Congress of American Indians mid-year conference. The Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative calls for compiling and analyzing records to find past boarding schools, as well as finding names and tribal affiliations of previous students. The program will also work on locating all possible burial sites on or near the schools. Haaland says these boarding schools try to strip Indigenous people of their native language, culture, religion, and identity, and this left a lasting trauma on Indigenous families.
I know that this process will be painful. It won't undo the heartbreak and loss that so many of us feel. But only by acknowledging the past can we work toward a future that we're all proud to embrace.
Like the Heard Museum and Phoenix Indian School hold a lot of history from Indigenous people in Arizona. Haaland said this initiative is meant to amplify the voices of those Indigenous people who want to form a better relationship with the next generation.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, a new landmark Supreme Court ruling. We'll talk about how it expands free speech for students.
And the Suns pulled off one of the most memorable plays in Arizona sports history last night. We'll have the details on that and more in just a bit.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons. Your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS. Take a journey with Arizona PBS. Join us every Sunday afternoon for Destination Drama. Watch all your favorite PBS dramas like Grantchester.
I'm William Davenport, new vicar of Grantchester.
Poldark.
Nothing in my life has meaning without you.
And Victoria.
I know that I'm young, but I know my duty.
And if you missed a recent primetime drama, we'll help you catch up on those too. Destination Drama. Every Sunday afternoon at 1. Only on Arizona PBS.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
The Supreme Court has sided with a high school student who was punished by her school for cursing online. The court ruled that a Pennsylvania teen was protected by the First Amendment when she posted a profanity-laced caption on Snapchat while off school grounds. In 2017, Brandy Levy, who was 14 at the time, didn't get a spot on the varsity squad at her high school, so she reacted by cursing online. When school officials found out, they suspended her from the JV team. Justice Stephen Breyer, who penned the majority opinion, wrote, quote, "Sometimes it's necessary to protect the superfluous in order to preserve the necessary." Justice Clarence Thomas dissented. He said students who participate in extracurricular activities can harm those programs with what they say outside of school.
Scientists believe they may have found a way to study the interior of Venus without landing on its surface. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Caltech have developed a balloon that's able to detect earthquakes on Earth. Barometers, which measure changes in the air pressure, are attached to the high-altitude balloons. Using the technology, scientists were able to detect aftershocks of an earthquake in California in 2019. Scientists are hoping this technique can be used to reveal the mysteries of Venus. Nothing is able to land on the planet because its temperatures and air pressure are so high.
Back here on Earth, we finally have some rain to hydrate the state that continues to be in the worst drought in modern history. This was the first measurable rain since April, according to the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service also said it was the first measurable rain in June since 2016. But how long will this rain continue? Let's go to Osama Awadallah in the Weather Center to find out.
Welcome to the Cronkite News Weather Center here in Phoenix. I'm Osama Awadallah, and I have a look here at our scattered showers in the state. The light green areas indicate light showers, and as you can see here, they're going to begin to move out east, and they should clear up by the end of this weekend. So if you're enjoying that, it's not going to last long. 102 tomorrow here in Phoenix, and then we're looking at 103 in Bullhead City, 99 degrees down in Tucson, and then 77 degrees up at the Grand Canyon, and a very nice 73 degrees out in Flagstaff. Here's a look at our evening planner. We're looking at mostly partly cloudy skies with 96 degrees at 6 p.m. We should go down to about 92 degrees by 10 p.m. And now a look at our 8-day forecast. We're looking at 103 tomorrow, 106 Friday, 108 on Saturday. And as far as the rest of the week is concerned, we have a slight chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday, although that's not very likely. From the Cronkite News Center here in Phoenix, Osama Awadallah.
I'm Harrison Clapp. Coming up after the break, all of your Cronkite Sports Report. One of the biggest recruiting events for high school basketball prospects took place in Glendale this weekend. We'll show you some of the sights and sounds from the tournament in just a moment.
He was bigger than boxing.
I am the greatest.
He was larger than life.
His magnetism just was amazing. Who is this guy?
He was a revolutionary. He was a groundbreaker.
Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Ken Burns captures an intimate story of victory, defeat, and determination.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
Muhammad Ali.
Coming in September to Arizona PBS.
Cronkite News provides students at ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism with the opportunity to gain real-world experience in the newsroom. At Cronkite News, our students produce professional content for audiences by taking on all roles, whether they be reporting, anchoring, producing, or studio production. Each department gives students first-hand professional newsroom experience. For more information, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Harrison Clapp, and this is your Cronkite Sports Report. What a night of basketball for the Suns last night. The team continued its franchise record playoff winning streak, making it 9 consecutive wins with a Game 2 victory over the Clippers. It was a nail-biting finish for Suns fans as the team sealed the win with a last-second alley-oop dunk by DeAndre Ayton. Fans were quick to dub the game-winning play as the Valley-oop, with many calling it one of the greatest moments in Suns playoff history.
You know, Coach drew up a great play where, you know, I was in the best position. You know, my teammates trust me and my coaches trust me. And, you know, great Book set a great screen, you know, that freed me up into the lane to at least gather my feet and go for the ball.
And we are learning that Chris Paul has cleared the league's health and safety protocols after passing a cardio screening earlier this morning. He is anticipated to return for Game 3 in Los Angeles. It will be his first game back since testing positive for the coronavirus last week. One of the largest high school basketball tournaments in the country recently took place here in Arizona. Emily Carmen has more on the recruiting event and the benefit it had on college coaches and high school athletes alike.
After a year of recruiting challenges due to COVID-19, high school basketball players were able to show off their talent to 400+ collegiate coaches at the Section 7 basketball tournament.
It's the biggest event on the West Coast, and we haven't been out for over a year, so you have so many talented kids from the West that we're recruiting.
During the pandemic, coaches like Stan Johnson, a former ASU assistant coach, had to rely on film and word of mouth to recruit players. But Johnson says there's no substitute for live scouting.
To be out here and see how quick a guy is, how tall he is, how long he is, those are things you can't see on film.
Many players said they were happy to be back in front of college coaches as well. They also shared their excitement to be playing in an incredible venue, State Farm Stadium.
We just think it's a great experience to be out in front of college coaches and this environment, kind of more like a college type of environment to play in.
State Farm Stadium welcomed nearly 200 teams from 12 different states for this tournament. As you can see behind me, what would be the football field has been converted into 12 separate basketball courts to accommodate for all of the games.
I'm from Indiana, where basketball is the pinnacle of the state, and this kind of supersedes anything I've seen before.
The tournament finals will be played at a smaller venue, Brophy Prep, but will still attract the attention of many coaches, especially from top colleges. In Glendale, Emily Carmen, Cronkite News.
Tournament organizers said the event gave critical exposure to players who missed out last year, especially seniors hoping to continue their basketball career. That's it for Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Aaron and Tina.
That's it for Cronkite News Tonight.
Thank you for joining us.